some long drives and some yards. What did the film show? Were you pleased with that effort until the end?
That's a great two-word phrase. Fairly pleased. You know, I think we played really hard, extremely hard. It didn't always fit properly, you know, every single time, but a lot of guys made up for it with great effort. You know, we knew going into it, getting Hundley on the ground would be a key to the game, and we did that for the most part. That guy, you got to give him credit. He's an unbelievably heavy runner, tough runner, durable guy, and you know, until he punched in, I think right before halftime, did a great job of exactly that, a field position game, turnover game. Turnovers were huge again, but a lot of stuff to work on when you look at the film.
We've just started there for those on the phone, so we'll get to you in a second. Did you have a question, Matt?
Yeah. After watching the film, was there anything positive that you didn't notice right away that kind of stood out to you on either side of the ball?
Was there anything positive that we didn't notice? Gosh, that's a great question. You know, I thought during the game and bared out, you know, our punt team and our kickoff team did a great job. Kenny Bassett was phenomenal. Kenny and Charles Nelson have been really good for us in terms of covering kicks, and we knew that getting to Ishmael Adams would be key, and I think their biggest return was a 16-yard return. That was huge, including the opening kickoff of the game, coupled with Matt Wogan, who did a great job of getting the ball in the end zone. He was 7 out of 7 as far as kicking the ball into the end zone. He ended up being our special teams player of the game, coupled with Ian Wheeler, Kenny Bassett, Tyree Robinson did some really good things in the coverage game as well. I can just go through that real quickly too. Our special teams scout of the week was Tyler Stinson, and then our defensive player of the game was Tony Washington. The defensive scout, or actually scouts plural, was the entire offensive line. On offense, Farrow ended up being our player of the game, and then the entire scout D line were the scouts of the week.
Gary Horowitz, I know you have a question. You have a question?
Yeah, hi Mark. How
Hey,
you
Gary.
doing? I might have missed this, Mark, and I apologize if I did. And I know you're not, you know, every game is just as important as the next in terms of statement-type games. But do you like this after looking at the film, just the response, the way the team came back, the way they practiced, and just overall how they played in such an important game?
Yeah, I really liked their response starting with last Friday. You know, right after the Arizona game, our guys were back at it in you know, as I call it, in fix-it mode and get improvement mode. Coaches and players in we mode, getting better, and they had a great week of practice. And the biggest thing that they took into the UCLA game was just, we talk all the time about earned confidence, true confidence, because you've done it before in training. And you trust it, and some of our young guys just didn't, and some of our older guys too, just didn't fully trust it, you know, and that shows up in missed tackles on the perimeter. Maybe a guy just takes one false step and doesn't fit his gap correctly, doesn't run through the tackle instead of coming with even feet or slowing down, and we did a better job of that, not a perfect job of that by any stretch, and that's an encouraging thing too, that we can get a win on the road against a very good team and still have a ton to work on.
And does this win moving forward? I know Washington's a real good team as well. Should this help a lot in this game, or is that just to be determined?
Well, hopefully, absolutely. Hopefully you build on, you know, again, win or loss, hopefully you build on the things you need to sustain and work on the things that you have to improve upon. But, you know, certainly I think, again, for a lot of young guys, we played a ton of guys in this game. Stetson Bear got his first action on the O-line. He had a weird little sequence there where Jake Fisher was unavailable. Tyrell had his helmet kind of torn off. And then Stetson goes in and we scored the touchdown right over the top of him. So it was a pretty cool deal there. And just a bunch of guys. Danny Mattingly, I think, as I said earlier, got his first action. The guy that you know is battling to just kind of durability wise, and has done a nice job that way of just staying as positive as possible. But I think hopefully it gives those guys just the confidence of being able to do it on a big stage. And the other thing too, if I didn't mention earlier, our fans were unbelievable down there. That's the biggest. I've been to the Rose Bowl a bunch of times as a you know playing UCLA, not for the Rose Bowl, all caps, but unbelievable crowd. The representation down there was awesome.
Matt?
Mark Farrow, I think, had career highs in catches, yards, and also single catch for long. When he has that type of impact, how does that impact your play calling and what you can do personnel grouping wise?
It's big. You know, he did even a bigger. He had even a bigger impact on the game as a blocker. You know, and that was one thing. We put a ton of stuff on his plate this week, and he's been practicing really well, and did it in every phase at the line of scrimmage, in space on the perimeter. He did some dirty work that got those guys some big yards. You know, all the backs and Marcus included. And then had a great game with the ball in his hands too. So sometimes that's going to happen, you know, as far as with the ball in his hands. But we need him to be that guy all the time, and he's done a lot of really good things thus far.